In my experience in the built environment business, I've found that a lot of people understand that they need to build relationships. A lot of people want to build relationships and keep them up. And a lot of people know how to build relationships. But there's one barrier that often gets in people's way. And in this video, I'm going to explain what it is and how to overcome it. So, what I've found is that in most roles in the built environment business, people are responsible for doing project work, right? So whether you're an attorney, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a contractor, whether you're a developer, you've always got projects that you're working on, right? We're trying to get these developments out of the ground and completed on time and under budget. And what that means is you've always got project requirements, you've always got project tasks, and this creates a problem for building relationships. I like to think of this in the format of an Eisenhower matrix, which is kind of a 2 by 2 matrix where you've got one axis that shows kind of importance, so not important to very important, and one axis that shows urgency, not urgent to very urgent. And project task work tends to be very important and often very urgent, right? And so when you compare that to relationship building, which tends to be important, and I would argue it's more important than the task work because if you don't have relationships and you don't sell work, you can't do the work, right? So selling always comes first, and I think it's more important. While it's more important, it's almost never urgent, right? And I spend a lot of my time, not all of my time, but a lot of my time building relationships with people as a business developer. And I've never found that there's a relationship building emergency. You might have a RFP or RFQ, request for a proposal, request for qualifications emergency. You might have a meeting emergency, but you're not going to have a true relationship building emergency. And so what that means is that those relationship building tasks, while they're very important, are never urgent. And if you don't do one thing to to make sure that you're making time for those tasks, they won't get done. They'll always get pushed to the bottom of the pile because there's something that's more urgent and more important. And that one thing that you got to do if you want to make relationship building work is you got to set time aside for it. You got to make it a priority because it's never going to be more important, or excuse me, it's never going to be more urgent than the project work. So earlier this week, I was meeting with a land use attorney and we were talking about just this very thing, right? They were saying they want to build more relationships and prioritize relationship building. And I told them, I said, the only thing you've got to do is you've got to set aside the time. You've got to make it a priority. And if you don't make it a priority, your project task work will always be more urgent and you'll get to the end of the day and you won't have done your relationship building tasks. So set aside a time, think about who you want to build relationships with, who you want to keep relationships going with. You know, make it, I like lists, make a list of those people, right? Make it as easy as possible to get that relationship building task done. Do it first thing in the morning if you have to. Set aside a time once a week, Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. That's your relationship building time. And just pick a target. Think about how much time you want to spend doing this. Do you want to go to one lunch meeting a week, one a month? It just really depends on what your goals are. And so, again, if you don't force urgency in your relationship building, it's never going to be more urgent than your project task work. And frankly, it's never going to get done. So that's the one barrier that I found. And again, it's all because of this Eisenhower matrix of important to not important, and urgent to not urgent. Project task work will always take precedent because it lives in the important and urgent quadrant, while relationship building tasks live in the very important but not urgent quadrant. Thank you.